Hello and welcome to Retail Talks, the webinar. Today we're going to be talking about how ITL source sustainably. In a world where new sustainable materials are continuously being brought onto the market, and the word greenwash has certainly seen a lot of attention in the media, it's important that our customers and ITL understand how we can minimize our customers falling in that greenwashing trap. So today I have ITL CEO Chris Currie and Group Sustainability Officer Jimmy Christopher joining me to help us understand just how ITL is managing that greenwash trap, I guess, and how we source sustainably. Hello, everybody. Welcome to today's webinar.
Hi, Sabine. Thanks for having me.
Hi, Jimmy. Thanks, Sabine. Maybe I can just kick off just from a strategic level, talk about ITL and sustainability. I think sustainability was a topic that we really started to dig deeply into about 3 years ago, and saw that as a trend and something that was a really good thing to business. As a result, we built it into our revised business strategy, as well as the core values of the business. So one of our 7 core values of ITL is sustainability, and that revolves around a great deal of components. We talk about, obviously, the people within our business, the planet, and profits, so the business as well, for the business to survive. So we've been taking sustainability really seriously, and I think that also talks to other core values of ours, which is authenticity, integrity, and being customer driven, so following the trends. And so shortly after that, we recruited Jimmy, who is proved to add tremendous value to the business as someone with a great deal of education, training, expertise, and passion for sustainability. So, and we've made tremendous progress since then, and driving sustainability, I think, throughout our business. The suppliers we deal with, the materials we use in our products, and the materials we use to make our products as well. And then roll that out to coming up with viable, credible offerings that genuinely add value to our customers. And Jimmy's been instrumental in that. And really excited to have had him on board, and loved working directly with him on this project. It's been an amazing journey, and we've made huge strides already. So I don't know if you had specific questions on this topic, Sabine. Maybe you want to fire away, and Jimmy can deal with the more technical side, and I'll add some value where I can.
Just before we go on to the questions, Jimmy, I know you're always on the podcasts with us, and you're always doing lots of talks, but just in case, do you want to just introduce yourself quickly? And I mean, Chris has done a fantastic introduction already, but
yeah.
Do you what more do you want to add?
That I've had, but yeah, as Sabine said, I'm Jimmy Christopher, the Group Sustainability Officer for ITL. Been here about 2 years, and as Chris said, we've made huge progress. We've got massive buy-in from the business towards this new drive that's now a fundamental part of the business. Chris actually mentioned a few key points that we're going to deal with today about viability and credibility, which kind of very much ties in around how we source our materials and why we source certain materials, and then how that helps our customers.
Brilliant. Excellent. So I guess last year, as you know, we launched our Care Collection, which is a range of conscious, affordable, responsible, and ethical alternatives to help make our customers' labels and packaging more sustainable. But before we even discuss the process of how we select which materials belong to the Care Collection, can you advise how ITL decide which material should even be considered? So how do we decide which material we're going to already just think about looking at, contemplating putting into the Care Collection?
Yeah, so I think there's a few sort of areas that when we are trying to decide what materials we should use, for one, we have to see what types of materials in terms of performance even match what we do as a business. So that's kind of, like a key stop-go from the beginning. But we also do quite a bit of market research from sort of 2 sides. One, from what our customers are asking for, because we often get asked to look at certain materials, or we get asked to provide a certain material. So we have to explore that with our customer and do it in a collaborative way so that we're aligned and we can understand why they want that material, and so we can kind of give a more fit for purpose thing as well. And then a bit of trend research as well. So looking at a lot of like external reports and insights just from the industry about where there's innovation, where there's new technological advancements. I think staying on top of those is obviously quite important. New materials with lower impacts are being developed very often. So it's important that we know if we can use these, do trials if we need to. And then also with our current suppliers, I mean, for various materials, we have had the same suppliers for a number of years. So we make sure that we have the type of relationship with them so that they understand that we're wanting to innovate, help to guide them to build products that are fit for purpose for us as well. And then to find materials that fit the various sustainability goals of the brands as well. Because it's all good and well being told, cool, please try to find me a sustainable material. That doesn't mean a lot to just use that word. There's so many aspects of it. There's water, energy, there's chemical use, there's as I said, there's quite a few various like metrics. If the brand has got goals to reduce their water usage, then things like cotton versus polyester mean obviously completely different things. If it's from a fossil fuel use point of view, again, then cotton and polyester are very different. So I think it's important that we can tailor what materials we offer to what the various brands and retailers need for their own goals.
Yeah, very true. Excellent. And so once you've selected a material that you want to look into and potentially include in the care collection, what happens next?
So I think what I've kind of put a lot of focus on is looking at the exact technical details of a specific material and product, and about trying to go as deep as possible into that. So especially when there's numerous steps in the supply chain before we even get the material. I mean, be it for like paper-based products that are coming from forest or not forest, or like agricultural waste even, there's a lot of things that happen to this material before we get it and then use it for our processing. So about trying to get down to the very first step is important, trying to get that traceability and proof of traceability using certain certifications that have chain of custody, things like FSC, to make sure that papers are from a responsible source, or GRS, to know that there is a certain amount of recycled content in a polyester product, for example. And then also, I think one thing that's becoming more and more common, still, I think there's more work to be done in the industry, but is that that's looking for LCA data, so life cycle assessment data, so that knowing when we buy a material for us to use, what are the impacts of that material being made in terms of energy, water, chemicals throughout its life cycle. So having actual scientific data on, okay, here's some carbon footprint of the material, or the amount of water or energy used, because then we can build in our own data to have a full LCA of our final product. So, I mean, we always ask for that type of data. It's not always available. I think ultimately we try to go back down the supply chain as far as possible to know exactly what's happened at every step, like we did now for some of the new products. As Sabine mentioned, I mean, the paper products, one of the ones was from an agri-waste out of China, and we wanted to go back to the farm level to find out exactly where the farm was, how they were farming, and were they using fuel value substitution, for example, which means were they now using their waste as a paper product, but then using fossil fuels for energy requirements on the farm? Was there natural conversion of forest to farmlands over a certain time? So just trying to get as much detail as possible, because then that can give us the raw data to give the real picture to our customer, and then in turn to the consumer, which is what we're trying to do, have that whole like supply chain mapped and actually know what's going on.
I think, Jimmy, just to add on to what Jimmy's saying, you'll see that Sabine, a lot of this is about learning, because sustainability is such a complex and pervasive topic that affects all of our lives, be it in our work, our home, our personal life, businesses, the general environment. And it means very different things to different people, and people have very different levels of understanding. And you'll have picked up from the way Jimmy's talking about this, he's approaching it from a very well-researched, logical, scientific, data-based approach. I think that is so critical in terms of getting this right. If you're on a scale, you start with greenwashing on one side and you move across to a very heavily scientific, data-driven approach on the other side. We want to tend towards that because I think that ensures that we achieve really true sustainability in terms of what we do, how we do it, materials we use, as well as an opportunity to add value to our customers. If we have technical expertise in those areas, which is one of our USPs, we must be able to, as the people who make labels and packaging, we must be able to offer real credible advice that is well certified, researched, proven to our customers and help and work with them on this journey, because it is a journey and we're all learning, and it's highly collaborative. It's quite unusual for a topic within a business or an industry to be this pervasive that you actually have to have everybody in all the various stages of the supply chain working together. As soon as you break that chain or somebody's not doing the right thing, it starts to fall apart. So really challenging, but exciting.
And interesting that you mentioned the word collaborative, because we've not just because we are in the month of July already, I can't believe it, but at the beginning of the year we started working heavily with the Higg index, didn't we, Jimmy? And more recently Canopy. And I guess those types of collaborations that we have help ITL as well find those, what did you say, LSAs? No.
LCAs.
LCAs.
So Higg index on the one side, we've been using the MSI quite a lot, the Material Sustainability Index, to build our products into there, so that then we have values for energy, carbon emissions, water, etc., that are associated with the manufacturing of our products. As you mentioned, Canopy, we've used their resources and expertise to find LCAs about different types of paper, so be it agri-waste versus recycled versus virgin paper, and things like that, and about using these collaborations, like you mentioned, to basically get the scientific data, because you can make as many claims as you like, but without scientific evidence, they don't mean anything at the end of the day.
And so what would we do? What would ITL do if a customer came to us saying they wanted to use a particular material for their swing tickets, for example, but it wasn't a material for sustainable reasons, but it's not a material that we have added to our care collection because maybe we've already looked into it, and in fact we can't find all that scientific data to prove that it is truly sustainable. What would ITL do in that situation?
Well, I think that's again about the collaboration thing. We have the same goals as our customers. We're all trying to reduce the environmental impact of our processes and our products. I think we would try and understand with them why they want that material. If they've got some scientific evidence as to why that material has a lower impact compared to the traditional one, then we would without a doubt try and explore it with them, and why they are choosing that one for their own goals, as I mentioned earlier, I think is quite important, because if they say, oh, we're doing it because we want to reduce overall water usage, then we can also recommend something that we already have that helps to meet that goal. So but if they are set on the material and they can, and we kind of can have the discussion and we can align ourselves and both understand that it is good, then we will be more than happy to go research it and do trials. I think it's about developing things with customers for them, with the goal with the goal in mind of meeting their overarching sustainability strategy. So again, if the process is about a development from the beginning, and we can see that the goal is for reduced environmental impact and it will benefit both of us, then by all means we will start to develop that.
Yeah, I think if I can just add to what Jimmy's saying, Sabine, I think the process is often quite an interesting one, because people will start out with the intention or the goal of producing something on a more sustainable basis and operating a more sustainable business. And I think that's pretty universal, and it is definitely a growing trend, obviously in line with the impact of COVID, people starting to be more aware of the environment and their communities and caring about that, and greater transparency and real drive and momentum towards that. And I think as they go through that process, then people have often heard about different types of materials or products. And so they're starting to, because it's a new area that is growing and developing so quickly, people start to say, well, I've heard about this, and will this work? And that's a great interaction because it's an opportunity for either us to learn or for them to learn. And where Jimmy, with a master's in sustainability, he's trained for this, he knows how to do it, he's done a lot of research, so often we have a lot of answers and options that we can put on the table, but often people come up with something new, as you've suggested, and then we will go away and do the research, and we can learn and share that knowledge. But I think based on data and science and proper research, and that's really...
And I guess that goes back to what we were saying at the beginning of which materials do we even consider to look into. And Jimmy, you mentioned it's about doing some market research. What is it that our customers are asking for? So it's that nice virtuous circle, I guess. The virtuous sustainable circle.
But I mean, also Chris mentioned like this field is very new. So I mean, like often we'll get asked about like a new material and there is no info about it yet. I mean, there's still lots of research that needs to be done. If we can aid in it as well to see how things perform, like how various materials perform in our different processes, and we can measure our energy and water, and also then help to reaffirm that yes, this is better, or yes, this is worse. And then about sharing the data about that. And again, I think it comes down to actual to actually being able to quantify your numbers in terms of where is your impact and also can you measure it. I mean, that's the most important thing at the end of the day.
Absolutely. So what I don't know if you can answer this, but I'm sure everyone's dying to know. Our care collection, we launched it last year. There's a mix of, there's everything, isn't there? There's materials, there's inks, there's attachments, there's polybags, there's really everything. But sustainability is forever changing. It's forever growing. As you've mentioned, there's always something new that's come onto the market. So what new materials are ITL looking into adding to the care collection this year?
So we have, we are busy trialing and checking things all the time. I mean, we've got loads of things on the go. Obviously, sometimes the trials take time to make sure that we can guarantee the performance. You also mentioned canopy as well. So with our new canopy Pack for Good policy, we're committing to try increase recycled content in our papers, use more FSC paper, and then also look to alternative fibers. So that's what we've done a bit of a focus on with 3 new papers. Two of them, one being made from all agri-waste, 100% of it. Another one, and that one is sugarcane or bagasse, should I say. And then another one that has corn waste, as well as agriculture, as well as recycled content, and then FSC content. And then another one with alternative fibers and FSC content. So it's about, for the paper side, trying to get away from non-FSC virgin. So uncertified sources of forest-based paper is what we're trying to avoid. Increasing, there's quite strong scientific evidence that using recycled content has a lower environmental impact, and using alternative or agricultural waste sources has a lower environmental impact than using virgin feedstocks. So that's an area that we're constantly looking at as well. And then another one that's also like a very advanced or sort of innovative area is bio-based materials. And there's loads of them. I mean, you can, from like a plastics point of view, even things like bio-based plastics, we are definitely looking at that for various applications. And then just to harp on about the recycled content again, trying to trying to introduce recycled content in not just papers but into plastic products as well. That's also quite a tried and tested method of saying that, or that we know that recycled content in general has a lower impact than virgin feedstocks, with a long-term goal of going towards something bio-based. Because I mean, even if it's a plastic and you're using recycled content for the next 10 years, you'll eventually run out of feedstocks, and it's still something that's fossil fuel based. So with the long-term goal of going towards bio-based, but using what's available now, and then trying to innovate at the same time. So kind of using recycled contents and then with the bio-based innovations running alongside.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much. I mean, we can't talk too much about the future, what's going to happen in the next 5 years, because I think it changes so quickly all the time. But thank you so much for coming on the webinar today and sharing our, not secrets, but our tools to making sure that we source sustainably and we can serve our customers the best we can and work with them collaboratively. Is there anything that you have a final thought you'd like to add?
Yeah, I think, Sabine, if just two things. The first one is that this is obviously about finding material options that are truly sustainable and how we make our products. But there's another level to it, and it relates to the collaborative approach. It's about finding and aligning yourself with other like-minded people within your supply chain. And it's become a real qualifier for us. We've built into our supplier evaluations that we perform on a very logical basis that's quite thorough. To what extent do they care about sustainability? What are they doing about it? What product offerings have they got? So I think there's a lot of alignment being driven down throughout the supply chain, which I think is important. We're ending up as a business starting to work with like-minded people who care about the same things. It's not just about, can I get this product in this quantity at this price at the right time? It's a lot more than that. And I think that's a good thing, and it feels good. And I think just to finish off, sustainability is a thing which requires substantial effort to make it happen within a business, and real cost and therefore real commitment. And I think we're getting that right. I think we're doing that. There's always more we can do. Jimmy keeps coming to me with lots of new ideas. But I've had the backing of the shareholders and the main board, and I think we're making massive progress in that area. So I'm really excited about it. It's something that helps you get a real sense for we're doing something really good here. Yeah. And there's lots of different components to it, but it feels good, and we're looking after our people, and we're doing good things for our people and the environments they work in and the chemicals and things they use and how they make our products. It's really good for our customers because we're adding value to their lives in a new area where everybody's learning and growing, and we're learning too. And it rolls through to their customers. And at the end of the day, we're running a business with less waste in a way that's less damaging to the environment. And I think that feels really great. When I talk to my kids about it, they get really excited, and they have lots of opinions on it. So they're not shy to share those with me. And it's a really great journey. It feels good. It's good for the business. It's good for our customers and good for our people. So I'm fully supportive, and it's a great journey to be on with a guy like Jimmy. Fantastic.
Awesome. Thanks, Chris. And thanks for your support on this. I think it's hard to drive real change unless you have buy-in from the bottom and the top of the business. And I think ITL has that. So I'm also looking forward to more and more change for the good.
And I guess we'll stay tuned for these new papers being released very soon. Thank you very much, everybody, and I hope you have a wonderful afternoon.
You too. Thank you very much. Cheers.
Thanks, guys.
Cheers.
Bye.